Well, I guess I'm the host now. It says I'm live on YouTube. Just waiting for YC to come back.
I don't know how that happens, but it's able to because you're streaming to my YouTube when I left, so that's interesting. Okay, so all kinds of tech shit's happening here. I don't know how that happens, but it's able to. There we go. All right. Ethical self-talk. Good. Skip ahead if you're catching the recording here. What's up? What's up? We're about to start over here. Okay, real quickly, Sumed, I'm going to I have a second phone. I'm going to set up the Clubhouse. Do you use Clubhouse over there?
Somewhat. I actually just found out about it a little while ago, so I don't use it too much. But when I hop on, yeah.
Right on. What does it really even mean when I hop on there?
Like when I see something cool, like when I see there's some interesting lecture happening, I'm like, okay, I'll hop on.
Oh, so what should we call this to make it interesting? Ethical self-talk? Is that something's interesting? Or Sumed Chatterjee? Or I called it on Instagram, girls can do anything they want. So I removed this woman because she had some post that had a girl that was wearing a shirt that said girls could do anything they want. And I was like, that's a terrible philosophy. Personal philosophy. Personal philosophy and self-talk. Or what do you think? What's a good topic for Clubhouse? What would entice Sumit Chatterjee Scripts to go join the Clubhouse?
Yeah, maybe something like rewriting the code of the mind or something like that, like rewriting your destiny, something like that.
Rewriting your destiny would get you to click it on Clubhouse. If Chris DeVilbiss or Yogi Chris PhD went live and said, what was it you said?
I think it was rewriting your destiny.
Rewriting your destiny, huh? All right. Really? You would click that? Are you sure?
Yogi Chris is going live, rewriting your destiny. Yeah, I think you should add ethical self-talk to it. That's a dope terminology for sure too.
You would click that? You think you would click on rewrite your destiny, ethical self-talk? Yeah. Rewrite your destiny with ethical self-talk. What the fuck is ethical self-talk? With scripts. Set topic. Let's go. It says, let's go. All right. And then we'll share it inside the Telegram. Share. Telegram. Telegram. Yep. Share it into the Silent Flute Men. Share it into the AZD Lions Den. And share it in the Ninth Limb. And add the comment with Sumed Chatterjee. With IMC Sumed Chatterjee. Send. Boom. Miracle's on. What up? He'll join the conversation. Of course, we'll make him moderator so it attracts his audience too. Miracle J. All right. And we're live on Instagram. We're live on YouTube. A few people on YouTube. And you got the Zoom link there. And then we're here on Zoom. And people will join as they join. And we'll click record. It's an Enlightened Masculinity episode. And let's see. Let me do just one thing here. And Sumit, think about what you would want to say about your event if I pass the baton to you.
Got it.
Sumit, do you have strip clubs in India by you?
No, brother. They're not allowed here, I think. Not even sure.
Oh. All right.
I'd be there if there was.
That's funny. Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Oh, we're on split screen right now. I need to go speaker view. But that's my guest, Scripts, aka Sumit Chatterjee, aka Scripts from Flow Zone Academy on Instagram, and he's IMC Nation Monk. I'm your host, Yogi Chris, PhD, founder of Ninth Limb. I'm going to start calling it Ninth Limb Nation. I just realized Ninth Limb Nation is going to be a real thing. The language of it just flowed out right there. So we're about to start Ninth Limb Nation, everybody. That's creative. And if you're catching this on any of the podcast apps, you want to follow and subscribe and click the links in the bio or description or whatever. And, that's how you get connected. So we have Scripts here, and we're talking about rewriting your mind with ethical self-talk. And what does that mean? And so we'll just define some terms. We were talking yesterday with Jared Sluman, aka Cyrus, about it, and he'll be back on the show because he's starting the jiu-jitsu club. We got other people here, Freedom Ranger, other monks, and as people join, feel free to participate when we offer that opportunity. And of course, follow the show if you're listening. So Sumit, what comes to mind with you? You also have an event coming up, so maybe we just plug that here at the beginning. You got an event coming up this Friday, Saturday, Sunday with Ivan Alejandro and AZD. And so that actually inspired a little bit of this, I think the title of it, because your event is about rewriting your story and your character, basically rewrite your character into the story of your life, designing your life, character development. Like if a quick rundown, like 10 or 20 seconds or 30 seconds, like what the fuck is your event and how is it going to change people?
Awesome, man. So yeah, it's a 3-day event. It's designed to get you basically the personalized coaching that you need, as well as the kind of concepts around the transformation around personality and identity. So we all have an archetype, and that archetype, we believe, is the key to getting you the results that you want. So if you don't have your archetype clear, it's going to be quite difficult for you to exactly figure out what you want to do. The event is planned out where it's like day 1, we focus on your past. So a lot of that is trauma healing, like just working on the past, a lot of that kind of stuff, like just rewriting the backstory that you have. Day 2 is the present. So what's going on right now, like what are the things that you need to be working on right now in your reality currently. And day 3 is the future. So we're quantum leaping into the new reality where we have AZD speaking on the 3rd day as well. So basically it's all about character development. It's all about basically hopping timelines. It's on Lionsgate as well. If you're interested in astrology, that's a very important time. Ivan knows more about that than me, but it's
on Lionsgate. What is Lionsgate?
Lionsgate is an astrological portal, you could say, where there's great shifts happening. So I don't know too much about it, but basically around that time, the star Sirius is basically crossing over to with another star and with the sun, I believe. And it's just, I don't know, it's a very powerful,
Right.
auspicious.
So if we had Ivan, he could talk about the astrological significance of all that. But
Yeah.
and I had messaged him. I guess he didn't get it in time. But so it sounds like it, fortuitous if you're into that and if you understand that. But also it sounds like a deep event that is going to bring up pain and tearjerker and maybe feel stronger afterwards. And it sounds like a really potent sequence, really. Diving right in with that, and then ending it off on like a big springboard or a catapult into the future. It's going to be really powerful. I'll bet you're going to have a lot of really great testimonies from that. And how much is that? That's a 3-day event. People were asking me like, how much is that?
Yeah, it's $329 for the people who got early bird. They're kind of lucky they got it for 119.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, what was it? 329.
Yeah.
All right. Well, 329 it is then. And there you go. So if you see this, if you catch the recording, hit up Scripps. I'm sure there'll be a recording for that event. Who knows how fast this gets uploaded. But it's still great to talk about it because, when you're talking with people and the ability to transform through that character development, like what is the result of that? What's the like what would somebody expect to I assume it's going to be unique to each person, but like what would somebody be seeking out that your event would be like the perfect solution for? Like what would, if they were unaware of you and they were seeking out in the internet world or through word of mouth, they were asking, like, what would they be asking for that would lead them to this event?
I would say definitely like there's different aspects to it. I think identity level change, like being able to actually tap into an identity difference in themselves. So behavior change in that sense. That's kind of like my background. Like my whole book is based on that concept. They get a free copy of this, by the way, my book. But basically, that's that whole process that saved me in college. Like the entire thing that I'm getting them to do is the process that got me to reinvent myself. And Ivan also has that background. We actually met in university. So he used to do a lot of my filmmaking and taking videos and stuff like that. So we were friends from a while ago. And the fact that we can connect as IMC brothers again for this event, I mean, we're basically adding both of our backgrounds in improv, in theater, and getting people to tap into that charisma. Like we have a lot of acting techniques on here, bioenergetics, something called confidence yoga, which we won't reveal too much about, but like there's a lot of interesting little elements to this that I think will basically open up and give people more access to the character that they prefer to be, not the character that society wants them to be, essentially.
That's a trip that you and Ivan knew each other in college. Where was that?
Yeah, it's in University of East London. So I went there for my master's, and he was there for his bachelor's. So it's cool, man. We were very like-minded people. You know what I mean? Like into self-growth, creativity. We're both highly hyper-creative people. Both Scorpios. We had that kind of mind where we were just like, getting ideas, like same sense of humor, kind of just like popping ideas back and forth. So
Yeah. Right on. And then you independently rediscovered Arash, like just like you didn't really stay connected, but you discovered Arash like that.
Yeah, I was always into like dating and like improvement at that time, and I told Ivan about him I think a while back. He decided to hop on the process as well. I was, when he came over to India to visit, I think like 2 years ago, we were actually watching like AZD lectures together. Like we were, how people have like, movie nights and stuff. We would have like, what was it at the time? I think Love Spell nights. We would just like freaking like, order food and just like watch Love Spell on the big screen. Like that's we were growing together for a while. I mean, so it's cool to be able to, yeah, finally link the two minds together and finally, like, you know, share our gifts individually, but also collectively.
Yeah, tapping in. That's really cool. We got to get you to the States, man. We got to get you to the States. When's that going to happen? When do you think you're going to be here?
Yeah, man. Not sure as of yet. I mean, the airports here are pretty messed up in terms of like this COVID stuff. I mean, it's kind of like, locked in. Everything's kind of locked in right now. Hopefully, I'm gonna try and make it to. I think hopefully maybe around my birthday time and afterwards. It's like October. Maybe things will open up now. I'm not too sure. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Well, do you think you would ever move to the United States, or are you going to stay in India?
that it's definitely an option. I'm definitely checking now because I want to. I've applied to different places for like PhD on flow state, so I'm gonna definitely check out like US is one of those places. So whatever the future holds, man. But I want to be as close to San Jose as possible. I mean, because of this tech.
Yeah, it'll change your life, man. Talk about change your destiny.
Yeah.
That's going to be real, real exciting. It's good that you can apply this tech and the tech that to, integrate people's personalities and their psychology and their nervous systems. That will create a better, more powerful springboard for what AZD does on the third day. So that's very interesting. So when it comes to this topic about the podcast, which is if anybody's still listening on the recordings or whatever about ethical self-talk and rewriting your character, rewriting your story, what comes to mind for you with those words and that title? Because you kind of helped me out with the title a little bit. So like what comes off? Like what would you spit about that?
Yeah, I think I've always disliked this idea that the power isn't in our own hands. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I've always been the guys like not telling people to go with the flow, but to be the flow. You know what I mean? And I think that when I understand that I have the steering wheel, like I have the steering wheel of my own life, I have the responsibility. That's what that title means to me. It's like rewriting your destiny. That's a freaking big topic, right? It's like, whoa, you're changing the course of your life, right? Your pathway, your Tao, your Dharma, you're actually changing it. And so it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money. And I think that once we put those currencies together, we can actually make that shift. So ethical self-talk, it's a cool term. It's kind of like that term, vibrational marketing. I say I love that term too.
What is that?
But vibrational marketing is like marketing through vibes, right? It's like when you're purely just completely in your essence, and that gives off a sense of like, I want to buy from this person because I love their energy so much. I'm just gonna click buy now, right? So that's vibrational marketing in my own words. I mean, I don't know, but kind of like your aura is so freaking bright that people will buy from you.
Okay. All right. Right on. Well, cool, man. Yeah, and it's similar. The ethical self-talk is, I think, similar to what you were distilling from, or what I got from what you were saying. And L. Ron Hubbard talks about ethics as like survival, and so ethical would be survival self-talk, which survival is mistaken for either like death or life, or like death or not dying, or something like that. But it's really a gradient of death all the way to immortality. And there's the all sorts of different levels of opulence or poverty, struggle, and things. So the level of survival and and the decisions and beliefs that somebody operates off of, that's their ethics. And so ethical self-talk would be pro-survival self-talk, which is contextual maybe, but also we're in an ocean of misconceptions, an ocean of mind control or whatever, and cultural programming and all that stuff. So ethics gets lost in it, perhaps. So first becoming aware of self-talk, of course, and then, or I don't know which one comes first, but like one thing is definitely self-talk, and then one thing is awareness of ethics. And then putting it together, is obvious. I mean, that's where I'm kind of at, because that's the phrase that came to mind. I'm like, whoa, I'm just discovering this concept, even though it's so kind of obvious once you point it out. But also I just defined it a bunch, but would have been nice to have heard like this concept. I don't know if 5 years ago I would have even been interested in what I just said, even. But it sounds so interesting to me now. So I'll just go with that inspiration. I'm sure your event is inspiring you too, like that wavelength of things.
Totally, man. And that's the thing, right? Like, I remember doing this podcast ages ago, and I just can't even recognize myself. I think through that time of shift, so we shift so much, in a given span of time. Like, give yourself a year, give yourself a long period of time, you just switch over. It's like you're not going to recognize yourself, man. Especially if you hang around a specific frequency. Like if you hang around AZD tech, like for a while, you're going to morph, just as a byproduct. So I think that, yeah, man, ethical self-talk. What's coming up for me is like, how we say affirmations, and it's like a lot of them aren't ethical. You know what I mean? In a sense where they aren't true, like they aren't helping your survival. So if you're just saying things like, I am confident, or in like a flimsy tone, you're not priming yourself to accept those affirmations. So I always tell my clients, like, prime your affirmations by saying things that are 100% true, and then say, I'm confident. And then it's kind of like the bouncer who's like, let's say he's bringing in the people in the club, right? There's that one straggler and he's like, oh no, I'm with them, right? So the affirmations get sort of coddled in with the other ones in a sense. It's like you have a bunch of M&Ms and a bunch of Skittles in there too. So that's how you can effectively affect your subconscious mind, is like through the priming, like, of saying, I'm a man, I'm from India. Like you can't deny those facts, right? It's like those are true 100%. So you go 100% true, 100% true, 100% true. And then you go 90% true, 80% true. And in that sense, when you do that, your subconscious mind is more likely to effectively take in that self-talk, right? So yeah, I just like that idea of like priming yourself for different things, right? Like different events. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some powerful work for sure. I like that. Definitely puts my attention on those. There's a lot of journaling processes I'd like to exercise, and I'm sure that when that happens, I'm just going to explode in my journal. So, all right, well, we have some new people. What's up, Katie? I don't know if we've ever met. And live audience, any questions or comments for Sumed while we have him here? Go ahead. You could I'll push you up to invite you to speak to Mosh on Clubhouse. Johnny Freedom, of course, you could always unmute any of these guys. You could type it out on Instagram. And let's see here. Yeah, that's, the ethical self-talk and talking to ourselves ethically. It's very powerful how you're talking about, direct observations of facts and tonality of it, and do it many times until you like tune your ear to like that certainty of that and the actual factness of it. And then, maybe kind of putting your attention on some things that maybe you want for yourself. It's in actual fact, they're not present, but I mean, I'm sure some quantum physicists can say in actual fact, they are present. So that's what you're kind of, tapping into, that kind of ideology. Isn't it funny that like an idiot is similar phonetically as ideology? Nobody ever says idiot though. Like we don't say idea or we say idea and we say ideology sometimes, but we don't say idiot. But some people say ideology, but that's very similar to idiot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, tapping in with that certainty frequency, certainty vibe, and then saying some things to create the manifest or whatever. Tune your mind to things that aren't present as if they were present, which would cause you to behave in ways that almost like you're fooling yourself. And you're taking advantage of the same mechanism that we would see psychosis in someone else if it was destructive or self-destructive or somehow burdensome or bothering or violating us, then we would think that something's wrong with that. Whereas somebody that holds in their mind that they have a $10,000 watch on and they behave like that, but they never violate somebody, maybe one day they'll have that. Maybe that's too far fetched. Maybe it's more a $10,000 client or a $10,000 hotel suite or a $10,000 it doesn't even have to be $10,000. I'm just kind of picking that $10,000 bar of gold. Like, what would they act like if it was there? And does that bring about? Does it change how they're acting? In obvious, anybody that goes into that and feels the outcome would obviously feel something different. So obviously it's going to change something, because it changes if you feel like you have it, what you want, if you really feel like you have what you want already, not that you force yourself to want what you have, but to think about what you want and then pretend as if you have it, and it starts to feel a certain way. Obviously, if you feel a different way, it's going to change how you act a little bit. Nobody acts or speaks in the exact same way if you change their feelings. But the question is, does that result in you getting what you're wanting? Does that have enough of a change? And does it even change you in the right direction? Like, just because it makes you feel like maybe that makes you lazy when you feel like you already have what you want, and then you stop actually striving for it because you're too immersed in the feeling good of having it. A lot of people would just sit in that and think that that's going to manifest for them, and they die with that desire unfulfilled. Or maybe it is fulfilled and they didn't really need it because they're just living in the experience of it. But what good is that? That's some imaginary, that's like, I have my dream girl, but I don't really have her. I just experience her in my mind system. So how can we validate or verify these systems? Well, that's the importance of lineage. That's the importance of seniority or experience, results and testimonies, and that it actually makes sense. And so you'll get better and better at this, and your sales will get better and better at this, and you'll have more proof and more proof. And so that's just the nature of the game that you're in. And part of the game is your certainty and your own success of success coaching. It's quite an interesting kind of fractal of itself, where it's like you kind of have to be the proof of your thing, but the proof of it is to be successful at, like, teaching the thing that you are. I don't know. It's not like me getting good at yoga and then teaching yoga and then becoming a self-development coach like that, or maybe it is, but it's just a very interesting segment of psychology that you're in. And as you carve out your niche, it's really going to be, I see, in your personality and your character development, that's going to just, spell out absolute success for yourself. And I really see that integrating in with IMC Nation. I see that integrating with AZD. I see you having access to a whole niche of audience. If you play that card, and you could, just to use that as a catapult to the next level for yourself, and you should maybe. So I'm sure it's really going to get taken home for you on that Sunday. And you got to get those final signups. You got to follow through with that, and be planning the next event, because in the planning of the next event and following through, I mean, there's no reason you shouldn't be hitting up 40 or 50 people a day in these final days. You know what I'm saying? So that's my piece about it. Any closing remarks from you, Script?
Yeah, man. I've said in the past that fake it till you make it is dead. It's the time for act it till you fact it. And so basically that's what I want to remind people is act as is. YC, Yogi Chris told you guys some gems there. Like, really follow through with that. Act as is, not to the point of, psychosis or delusion, but from the space of, like, you are actually embodying the character that you truly prefer to be, and knowing, like, okay, the space in the brain, right, for memory and imagination is the servo mechanism. It's the same thing. It's the same area, right? So if we can tap into our memories or past successes and use them in our future visualizations, right? Then we can actually start to embody that much greater. Like, let's say we won an award in the past. Now we future visualize that same feeling that we won in the award in the past for a future award. Now we're really tapping into this energy. So yeah, I just want to remind people of that. Like, speak to yourself as if it's already happened in the past. Like, remember that time when I had that writing reality event and it was a huge success and people kept signing up again and again, and it was just the start to something spectacular. I remember that. That was awesome, right? So
That was. I remember that too. You know,
Absolutely, bro.
man.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
the output that you put out for it. I mean, I remember that. That was when Sumed, drank some energy drinks and stayed up for 72 hours and just output, output, output. Man, and that's what he took himself to the brink, to the edge, and that's what it took to get the input. You know, so awesome, very cool. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, you unmute.
No, man, that's good. I think that we can leave it at that.
Sure.
Definitely check this event,
Fuck yeah.
and may you never be the same again.
May you never be the same again. Flow Zone Academy on Instagram. We'll see you guys next time on Enlightened Masculinity. Os.